Welcome back to Northern High 420. Today we got the Yocan Black Pocket, and this is the device we will be covering this week. Get a little chilly out, about 36 degrees out this morning. So we'll see how this goes. It's also opening weekend of deer season, so luckily this spot here can't hunt, so we're able to walk and talk in this spot. We'll see how that goes. If you hear gunshots in the background, it's probably just a hunter nearby. So far it's been pretty quiet. That's a big hunting area where I live. But today we're going to cover the Yocan Black Pocket. This one I've had for about 4 months. It's actually the first little pocket dabber I bought. And kind of got it to appease some people, told me to try it. I was not that excited about playing with little cheap Chinese devices. I've used Yocan batteries before for carts, but never really messed with any of the other products. Bought one of these. I think I paid $85 for mine. I've seen them at Dab Hut right now, has them for $65. I figured why not give it a shot. It's an internal battery, it's not removable for a single cover. Battery life I get about, I'd say 11 or 12 dabs out of mine. 5 clicks to turn it on. I have mine set at 480 right now. And you can actually toggle your temperature any which way you like. Single buttons, so you have to cycle through the button a few times to get to the different settings. Maybe hit it 3 times, you get the temperature setting. You can increase it. Just kind of nice. It's full circle, so you have to go all the way around in a circle. If you go up, can't really go down. It's kind of like the bomb rig that way. But it's doable. I keep mine at 480. It seems to perform really well right around there. From what I've read, it has real-time temperature control, which is pretty cool. You usually don't see that on cheaper devices. So that's promising. And we'll go ahead and take our first dab here. Just double click to get it started. Heats up pretty fast. See if the camera captures that on there. The GoPro, you really can't see that close. So about 12 seconds for the heat up. And it gives you 60 seconds to finish out your session. So we'll take our first rip. Nice little cloud on the first one. Use the cloud on the second one. A little windy out. Really solid cloud. Take a few more rips. I consider that done right there. Gotta keep them on a leash since it's hunting season, don't want them running off. Couple quick swabs. It's nice and clean. Bucket's been really easy to keep clean. I haven't had a struggle with it. So if you take slower rips with this, you'll prevent it from pulling up through here, which will make a big difference on your cleaning. I imagine it probably help out from having your coil shit out on you too. For mine, I'm still in my original one 4 months later, and I've beaten this thing up. I have pretty good luck with coils though. but I tend to keep my devices pretty clean, and I think that makes a huge difference. Swab it out after each use. Soak your coils. Keep them clean. Keep your device clean. Makes a big difference. I have very few coil issues across any of the devices, and I really think it has a lot to do with cleaning. My Puffco Peak Pro had, Christ, like 7,000 dabs on it before I gave it away. And on that one, it was mostly the battery life was starting to die on it. The atomizer was fine. So that's just one of my recommendations with any dab device. Keep them clean. They'll definitely last a lot longer. With a device that's $85, $65 on sale, you probably get a lot more out of your money if you keep it nice and clean. So when you're buying these little budget devices, especially like this, and I mean, it'd probably go the same for the Peak Pro. I know people bitch about the Puffco atomizers. I've never had a problem with them, but I keep them clean. Imagine you keep these clean. Probably have just as much luck as I've had with mine. But overall, I've had really good luck with it, and I think it works quite well. A couple things that are a downside to me is really we've already gone over it, the pulling the dabs through. Throw a turbo in here, makes a difference. Loading this device is pretty easy. It's got a nice big wide bucket. It's easy to get it in there. I use a hot knife when I'm using these little small devices because it's a lot easier to hit the center of the bucket. One of my recommendations, pick up a little hot knife. Even the Crossing Tech one at price, I think like 30 bucks, works pretty well. But this piece right here, if you flip it over, you can get it to stay, so it's not flipping on top. Otherwise, it kind of snaps back into place, making it kind of hard to load when you're on your walk. So we'll go ahead and load another one. Find my dabs here. I'm going to use the Puffco hot knife. It's the one I've had the longest. I just find it works really easily. I don't like that it does seem to vape off a lot of the product here. When you drop it in, you'll see a puff. The one that I've seen that worked the best out of those, and I didn't necessarily care for the device it came with, was the bomb one. The bomb one, barely see any vapor come off when you hit the button. That one works pretty well. The Dr. Dabber one I find kind of complicated to use. I'm used to holding the button down, so when I tap the button it slides off before I'm ready. It kind of shocks me because it keeps the heat on. Otherwise, that one works really nice. Feels good in the hand. I have the Focus V Saber coming too. Not that I'm trying to test hot knives. I just picked up because I picked up Carter Sport yesterday to see if my Eris atomizer is bad. Figured I'd just buy a whole device and then go through e-rigs eventually. Kind of the thought process there. So the Eris video probably be a little bit of a wait till I get the atomizer off the Carter Sport and try it, because that one I just don't really good rips on it. It does rip better than this, but I would expect quite a bit more, where I think the pivot works better than the Eris. And it really doesn't make any sense with the full-size atomizer. So with Yocan Pocket, it's 5 clicks to turn it on. I'm going to turn it off first. It's 5 clicks. You have your little display right here. Shows the temperature. Also has a timer for your dab timer, 60 seconds. You can also see how much battery life you have. So quite a bit of good information on this little screen here. Other nice thing about the Yocan Pocket, until the Dr. Dabber one came out, it was the smallest. The Dabber's a little bit shorter. But I kind of like this one, and I use this one quite a bit, even though I had the Pivot and the Eris and the Pocket Rocket. I use this one quite a bit because I can conceal it. You know, I could be in a tight space and take a rip. Not many people would really notice. So I use this one quite a bit. Also for the price, it's something that I would take with me quite often and not have to worry about it. I'm not worried if I lose this thing. I mean, yeah, losing 85 bucks sucks, but it's a lot less than some of the other devices out there. Hit strength is quite good. I think this rips better than quite a few devices. In this category, I think it rips about as hard as the Dr. Dabber Ghost. The Ghost tastes considerably better. Same with the Pivot. The Pivot tastes considerably better than this. But the flavor's not terrible on it. It's just a little bit muted. I think this silicone top really robs a lot of the flavor. Hard to say. But definitely some flavor loss on this one compared to the other devices in its price range or in its size range. And that's probably the biggest downside. I know some people had reliability issues, and that would be a downside. I've not had any currently with this. It's been pretty much bulletproof. I kind of like this one more than the Pivot at times because of the battery life. I get like 11 or 12, 10, 11, 12 bowls out of this, where the Pivot, man, I take that thing with me, and by the time I'm ready to get done with my day, which is usually like say a 10-hour day, I'll take five hits during the workday, and then before I'm leaving, usually I want to go hit up a park or something, go look at the lake, and take another rip. And I usually have to charge it before I do, which kind of sucks. With this one, I never really have that problem. It makes it throughout the day for me. So battery life's a big plus. There's not a lot of compromises with this device other than flavor. It's easy to keep clean. Remember not to draw very hard on it. It's been pretty durable for me. I'm sure people have had varying results with these. I think maintenance makes a big difference. Don't undercut that. I know it sounds stupid that why would a little oil build up make that big of a difference, but it does. So recommend keeping clean. It's not difficult. Get some cotton swabs, take your dab, swab it out once a week, pull the atomizer off, soak it. Done. Pretty simple. A lot better than spending, I think, $39 for a little coil. So these little coils are pretty pricey for the price of the device. I'd recommend taking care of it. Have a little better luck. We'll take our last dab. So it's 5 clicks to turn it on. Double tap to heat. Real-time temperature control, which I think for this price range is unheard of. You usually see that more on like a Dr. Dabber or a Puffco. So that's pretty cool. Fast heat up time, 11 seconds according to this. 60-second timer. Taste is satisfactory. Not great. Hit strength is quite good. Take a rip. Like, I think the Pivot hits a little harder. This hits probably more like the Dr. Dabber. Dr. Dabber I feel like doesn't hit quite as hard as the Pivot does. You could also crank the temp up on this and get some pretty big rips. But at that point with this little top, it gets pretty harsh. I do feel like this is smoother than the Pivot though. That was 60 seconds. I'm going to swab this out quick. Does a pretty good job with efficiency in 60 seconds. You don't put a monster dab in there. Does pretty good. But you can see it's nice and clean. I mean, this is 4 months of use. No chazzing. Nice and clean. Still working. My battery life's remained the same too. I haven't noticed any dip in there, but that's something to keep in mind over time. These devices tend to get worse and worse with battery life. I haven't had that problem with this. This device really surprised me. I was expecting not to like these. And what's funny is a couple weeks ago they asked me if I'd review one. And I told them I was already reviewing one that I bought myself. Because I don't usually wait for them to send me one. If they're not going to send me one right away, I'm just going to buy it. They really work on their timelines. It's cool if I don't have to pay for it. Saves me a little money. I can put that money to something else for content because I do budget my channel's purchases. every month. I have a set budget that I use to buy new devices for. So it's nice when they hook it up. But what's cool about Yocan was they replied back and said, awesome, looking forward to seeing it. They like the content. But I said that if they wanted to send me one to do a giveaway, I would take it. End up getting a box for the giveaway. I brought them with me. And we're going to do this up on Instagram, kind of where I do all my giveaways. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you're missing out. I just gave away a really nice Compton Woodcraft set and my Universal Baller. I have a PAX Flow giveaway going right now. And then we're going to give away 2 of these Yocan Pocket Blacks. A device that for like $89 and on sale at the Dab Hut for $65. I think works pretty damn well. Other devices in its range are about $120. The Pivot, the Ghost 2, the Pocket Rocket's a little bit more. That's a device I really like from the Dab Hut also. It hits harder than the rest of them. And the Eris, I think this thing compares pretty goddamn well to them. Hits well. Flavor is the one downside. Doesn't taste as good as the other ones. Hit strength isn't far off. I say it outperforms some. Some it lags a little bit behind, but it's definitely acceptable. Keeping it clean is very easy. Pretty good battery life, about 10 dabs on a charge. Charge is fairly quick. I think mine charged in like an hour. So charge is pretty quick. But when I told them I already bought one to review, it's pretty cool that they offered to still send me one for a giveaway. Then I get the box and gave me 2 of them to give away. So appreciate them for that. Huge shout out. Like when people over deliver. They did an excellent job at that with me. Goes a long way. Does not change my review. I wouldn't call it the best device in its category by any stretch of the imagination, but acceptable. We'll put these away. Guess we're going around the rock. But yeah, I wouldn't call it the best device on the market. It's a budget device. Definitely shocked me though. I was expecting to make a funny song about this one. Instead, I was like, damn, I like this right off the bat. That ended up being my go-to option. I dab more on the go, just a little disclaimer. I dab way more on the go than I do at home, so these things are way up my alley. Because small, right? Put a little concentrate in your pocket. That's small also, and a hot knife, and a few Q-tips. It's a pretty small package to be carrying around. So I do it a lot, and it's easy to keep clean. Smell, keep it down. So this was up my alley right away. Still expecting to make a funny song about it, end up loving it. Really have nothing bad to say about it other than it's a budget device, so I would say reliability concerns probably there. I've read some, but with concentrate devices I dismiss a lot of them when I hear coils because people are either hot dropping dabs in these things, which tends to crack the atomizer. Don't do that. Cold start them. Or they're not cleaning. If you're doing both those things and it dies, then that sucks. Definitely on the manufacturer at that point. But for a lot of things, I just don't have those problems with these. But those are a few steps I take. Clean it regularly. Swab it out after each use. Don't drop a dab in a hot device. Let it cold start. Try not to rip on it. Inhale a little slower so you don't pull the dabs out. And you'll have pretty good luck with them, I suspect. But overall, really recommend this device. It's done really well for me. I'll show where it ranks in my roundup. But I give this a recommend. I like it quite a bit. I will keep it in my rotation. Happy they sent me one to give away, and then they sent me 2. So go ahead and check out my Instagram. You'll be seeing a post later today about that and how to enter. And until next time, see you later. Goodbye.